What's up, everyone? Alex here, and welcome to my little corner of the internet, and welcome to gender troubleshooting. I guess that's what I'm going to be calling this series. I got bored and I started just brainstorming an idea for a series, and here we are. Question, topic: am I bigender if blank? Am I bigender if I have these genders? Am I bigender if I experience this? I get a lot of questions like that. I run a blog all about being bigender. I try to keep it generally about the multigender community, multigender positivity, and just anything that has to do with the multigender experience, but it does oftentimes go back to being it goes back to the topic of being bigender because it's just in the name. You're bigender big brother. So I do get quite a lot of questions about being bigender, and while I'm still sort of exploring the label, I'm confident in being able to answer questions like this and doing a little troubleshooting. So I guess common questions that I get are like, am I bigender if I'm not male and female at the same time? Bigender doesn't mean that you are male and female. It's a very common experience, and the original flag for the identity did imply male, female, and then like a blending of the two in the center. So a lot of people think that, if you're male and something else, or two entirely different genders, that you can't say bigender. You have to like call yourself something else, like polygender or non-binary, or even things like gender fluid. A lot of people think that they don't get to have the bigender label because of their experiences. And really, what I consider bigender to encompass, a lot of people I think would agree, is that bigender can encompass two identities, two genders, two or more genders is another definition I've seen. Two parts coming together to make a whole gender. I know that there's a term that's like demi-bigender or something like that. It's not widely used, and if you look up demi-bigender on like fandom or whatever wiki sites, it specifically states at the top of the page that like it's not a very commonly used gender label, so there's not a lot of information, and I think there are sources on it, I'm not sure, but like people don't usually like use that label. Usually they'll just say that they're bigender. You can be bigender if you're fluid between two or more genders. I say two or more genders because it could either be like a point A, point B fluidity, or you can consider the middle point to be its own type of identity. It depends on how you feel, because you could be like male and then neutral and female, so that midpoint is being considered another gender entirely. It could be four states of being fluid between, I guess, a more, what do you call it, a three-dimensional type view of it. So it's like male and then neutral, female, and then like genderless is somewhere up here, I guess. Or androgen, that's probably the better one. But it doesn't have to be male, female. You can fluctuate between identities, two or more identities. Personally, I'm bigender, but I'm male and neutroid. That's not what a lot of people think when they think of the bigender identity, but it's still a part of the experience. It can still be considered bigender. And I consider it like two parts that come together. So I consider it a form of demi-gender in a way, because it's two demi-genders coming together. It's why I still call myself demi-boy or a demi-guy. It's because it's partial malehood for me, mostly malehood. It's really like a 75% male, and then like the little bit on the end would be like neutroid, I suppose. You can be like 99% one gender and like a little bit of another gender and still be considered bigender. You can have an experience with a gender and your other gender is overshadowed. It like never presents itself. You can still consider yourself bigender. There's a million different ways that you could be bigender. You don't have to have two whole static experiences with being male and being female. That's just one of the many experiences. You don't have to say bigender fluid. You don't have to say demi-bigender. It doesn't have to be a micro label if you don't want it to be. And if you have more than 2 genders, you don't have to go trigender, quadgender, and then like polygender. You don't have to do that either. You can still consider it bigender to mean 2 or more genders. I've seen a lot of people in the community accepting that type of definition. I haven't really seen it updated on like fandom, on like the wiki sites. I call them wiki sites. I guess it's still a wiki site if it's on fandom. But whenever I'm looking for a term, I type in term wiki, and I put the term in quotations to make sure that I actually get that search result. But yeah, I haven't seen it being like the official definition of 2 or more genders, but that is a largely accepted version of the definition of bigender. So, I mean, yeah, you don't even have to have 2 genders. You could have 2 like concepts of gender. You could be just trans-masculine, trans-feminine together, and those aren't genders necessarily, but you could still consider yourself bigender if you want to. So that's pretty much it. I get a lot of questions, am I bigender if this? And it's really down to like whether or not you feel like that label fits you. Not necessarily whether or not you feel like you fit in with the community. I've always felt like I didn't fit in with a lot of bigender communities. I always felt like I didn't fit in with a lot of trans-masculine communities. That's a normal experience. You're never going to quite fit in the way that like you're experiencing the majority of other people's experiences. But it's whether or not you feel comfortable using that label. If it feels like you, try it on. Try it for a week. Call yourself bigender for a week and see how that feels, and see if you could possibly ever consider yourself something else. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope everyone's doing well. Don't overthink it. If a label makes you comfortable, try it out. And I am signing off for now. See you later.